let's dive into the impact of peak levels on Ogg Vorbis conversion. If you didn't watch my previous video, I did an in-depth review about the peak levels on both WAV files and MP3 conversion. And because obviously the biggest streaming platform on the market today is Spotify and it's using Ogg Vorbis format, I had to do the test also on Ogg Vorbis conversion. So is -1 dB true peak or 0 dB true peak making a change in the sonic result of the Ogg Vorbis conversion? First thing, a little word about the type of conversion, because you can convert files with constant bitrate or variable bitrate, CBR or VBR, and so to be really exact, I looked up and actually Spotify is using variable bitrate conversion. So what I did is actually do this check with variable bitrate at the highest quality possible. Ogg Vorbis format is using MDCT, so the modified discrete cosine transform function for the encoding, which is the same as MP3. We can see it a bit like FFT, but with this process, the phase of elements can be shifted. And who says shifting of phase says changing in amplitude. I told about this in my video on clipping. I told about it in my previous video on the impact of peaks on MP3. We'll see that actually the same is happening with Ogg Vorbis conversion, but there is something weird or unusual that is not happening with MP3. With MP3, whatever the peak level, the difference in loudness of the peaks is the same, whether I'm converting a 0 decibel true peak or a -1 decibel true peak file. If the conversion is giving me 0.2 decibel of boost, it's going to be the same for the two versions, right? It's always going to be depending on the audio content, but for one given track, the drift in level of the peaks is the same, no matter the loudness of the original audio file. With Ogg Vorbis, things are different. Look. If I'm looking at my file, remember this was the original one, it's not -1, it's -1.03 as I said in my previous video. Let's calculate it -1, but whatever, that's the -1. If I convert that to, but for the sake of our easy calculation, let's say it's just -1, okay? So we take -1, we convert it in Ogg Vorbis format, and instead of having -1, I have -84, so this is like 16 differences and on both channels, okay? 0.16 decibel of change. If I look at the 0 decibel true peak conversion file, here I have 19 and 16. So we see here already something weird is happening is just by measuring the numbers, the peak level change is not the same depending on the total loudness of the signal, which is already a first clue that actually there will be a difference in audible result because the metering is not the same. So, to continue the same protocol, I loaded the two tracks in the same project, -1 decibel true peak, 0 decibel true peak that I did bring down by turning it down 1 decibel down, right? When I flip the phase of the second one and I play them together, I should have total silence if they were exact same files. But as you can see, we hear something here, right? It's not total silence. A little bit louder. And what we hear as difference is kinda low and rumbly dirt and tiny high transients, right? It sounds like eroded transients. So let's pay attention now. Let's flip from one to the other and see what our ear can pick up as difference, right? I hear a difference in low-end content a little bit. It feels a bit fuller with the -1. The 0 feels a bit quieter, a bit flatter in the lows, a bit less punchy as well. We lose a bit of the punch as well. Also feels like in this 200 Hz area there's something becoming a bit more blurry, like we were making a bit up and boosting a bit this, adding a bit of harmonics there. For the loss we have around the 20 to 40 area. It feels like 20 to 40 is a bit quieter, and the 200 is a bit denser, a bit dirtier, and the top end is eroded. The really high part is like taken from there, and I think this is what we hear when we null them. That definition, and actually that blur. What I'm hearing, the density of the lows is what the Ogg Vorbis conversion is adding in that area. The little transients we have on the low end is, wait, I'm gonna try to let you hear it. Let me boost that. Let's push that. Look, or listen. That's the punch of the low that we lose while getting close to the 0, I would say, but what I'm hearing. This, my guess, is the kind of added dirt that I hear on the 0 decibel true peak version, where I feel the low-medium area was a bit denser, a bit more dirty. So the transients are lost on the low end. This is boosted, and the top end, let's remove that and let's listen to the top end. This is the definition that we have lost at the 0 decibel true peak. So with all this, for me, this conclusion is pretty self-speaking. Whether MP3 or Ogg Vorbis conversion, the audio result is better at -1 decibel true peak than at 0. This might be due to the fact that while converting, we are getting at some point above the 0 decibel. That might be one of the reasons. It might be due to the way the algorithm is coding. I'm not that in-depth into the coding of those algorithms. Nonetheless, I don't mind. I don't need to know. What I need is how to use it.